everyone, it's Nichol Spohr for Simon Says Stamped, and today I'm going to be sharing this wonderful winter scene card using components from the Simon Says Stamp November 2021 card kit called Cozy Wishes. We're going to start by stamping some of the birdhouse and light post images from the Cozy Wishes 6x8 stamp set included in the kit on some Nina 110-pound weight smooth white cardstock using a black ink for Copic coloring. So it's just important if you're going to color with Copic markers that you make sure and use an ink that won't bleed with the alcohol ink marker. Next, I'm going to color in my images with Copic markers. I've listed those markers across the top of the screen, and I've tried not to speed up the video too much so that for those who love to watch coloring and to kind of see how the image comes to life, it is a little easier to watch than in fast forward. I did speed it up just a little bit. We're starting with E40, 43, and 44 for these wonderful wood posts that the birdhouses or lanterns are sitting on. I love the images from this stamp set. This stamp set has been super popular. There are coordinating dies that are available for separate purchase, so definitely pick those up if you want to be able to die cut these images very easily. They are stunning. So we get the two birdhouses that you see here, the lantern post. There's also a mailbox image in this set. I've used that on a video on my own channel. There are 3 different bird images, some other little accessories, envelopes. For the birds, there's even a scarf and a hat, which I think are so super cute, and then lots of fantastic sentiments. I'm actually not going to use the sentiments from this set today, but they are beautiful. There's everything from happy birthday to missing you to warmest greetings and cozy wishes with smaller sentiments that pair with those. I always love the combination of a script sentiment with a smaller little sentiment strip. So very beautiful stamp set. Once I have all of these post-colored, we're going to start coloring in either the birdhouse or lantern. So we're going to start with the birdhouse over here on the left-hand side, and I opted to go with a completely different color palette than I use a lot of the time. Very much influenced by the SCANDI Christmas pattern paper included in the kit. So the pattern paper in the kit is a lot of blues, greens, and neutrals. And pulling from that, and then you can kind of see a little bit of the pattern paper in the top part of the screen. I'm going to use that as the background for my design, and so I definitely pulled inspiration from my pattern paper for these images. We're going to use B95, 97, and 99 for this birdhouse. So everything's going to be kind of either like blues, blue violets, or kind of blue greens. And then we'll color our bird and the chimney on this particular birdhouse in red. I always like a little pop of red on almost every card I make. But otherwise, we're going to kind of keep more in the blue-green color family for our image, or images, I should say. And I'm just working kind of slow. You'll notice I laid down a little dark and then I pulled it out with my mid-tone color, and then I'm blending more with my light marker, and I'm going to kind of keep working at that until I get the look just the way I want it. And then we're going to color in these cute little leaves here sticking from the little branch with blue greens. These are going to definitely have more of that blue undertone to them. I love this color combination. I've actually used it a little bit lately. I really, really like it. That's blue green 90, 93, and 96. For the openings on the birdhouses, and that's going to be for both this birdhouse and then the little star opening birdhouse, which how cute is that? I'm going to use warm gray 6 and warm gray 8 just to kind of give it the illusion of going inside of the little birdhouse there. And then for the casing around both the openings for the windows and door, I'm just going to go back in with blue 99 and add that color. Now we're going to move on to the chimney. This is going to be R46 and R59. R59 adds a little bit deeper, darker red color to the R46, which is pretty bright red. I'm kind of trying to keep my colors a little bit more in that muted family. For the roof here, I am going to use E47, 44, and 43. So E43 and 44 were actually used for the branch post that the birdhouse is sitting on. We're just incorporating E47 to darken that just a little bit for the roof on this particular birdhouse. Now, one of my favorite things that I ended up doing on probably the entire card is this next step here. And as I was working on my birdhouse, I thought it would be fun if it had a little bit of texture to it. So I'm going to take my blue 99 marker, which was the darkest marker I used, and I am going to just very lightly draw in some kind of imperfect lines right over my coloring. And it gives it this great little stripey effect, which, like I said, I think it's probably one of my favorite things about this card. I love the texture it adds to the birdhouse, and it just adds a little bit of whimsy and fun. Next up, we are going to work on our little star birdhouse. One of the other things I love about this particular trio of images is that the height of each is different. No matter if these had been all the same height on the stamp sheet or not, this is how I would have placed them on the card at different heights because it visually adds so much interest. So I love that Simon, when they designed this, created it with them all being different heights, because when you use them together, they just go together seamlessly. And obviously you can use these separately or with other stamp sets that you may own as well. So this color combination is blue-green 70, 72, and 75. I'm using two different blue-green color combinations. This is the more teal version, I would call it, and then the green version that I used for the leaves is the more greenish version. Both I really, really like, and I think that they work fantastic for a more muted or jewel tone color palette. And I'm having to work a little bit to get the blending just right, but that is okay. Keep in mind, both blue-green 70 that I used here and blue-green 90 that I used for the green have a lot of colorless blender in them. So if you oversaturate, and you can even see, I did bleed outside the line a little bit. I just kind of went with it and left it. It's pretty light, but I should have let my coloring dry for a few seconds before trying to blend more, just because I oversaturated the paper. It happens, but usually I just kind of go with it. Now for my last image, this is the lantern, and I think this is a fantastic addition to this stamp set. I love that it's a lantern instead of a birdhouse, and it has these candles in it. This obviously would be fantastic for Christmas type of cards. I could see adding like greenery or mistletoe kind of around the base of this image or up at the top, and really adding a lot of Christmas, like traditional Christmas colors. Very, very beautiful image, so pretty. I opted to go with a blue-violet color combination here. So it is a little bit purplish, but I think it ties in really nicely with the kind of teal and blue that we have going on, and with the background paper that we're going to be using. So for the glow around the candles in the lantern, I'm using YR30 and 31 and 23. So I put down YR30 first, then a little YR23, a very little bit of that, and then a little bit of YR31 to blend out YR23, and then back with YR30 to give it that really pretty glow. And I know right now it's kind of bled into the flame of the candle. It doesn't look all that great, but this really does end up being super fun, and it does look like the candles are glowing when we're all finished. So next I'm going to color in my candle here with my blue marker. So this is back to the color combination I used for the first birdhouse. That's going to be B95, 97, and 99. And then we're going to do a little flame with YR23, which was my darkest color for the outside. And then just in the center of each flame, a little YR27. For my other candle, I'm going to use the green color combination that I used for the leaves. So this is going to be blue-green 90, 93, and 96. I laid down my colors and then I went in with blue-green 90. And remember, blue-green 90 has a lot of colorless blender, and it ended up really lightening that candle, probably more than what I actually really want it to. So I will kind of fix that in a little bit. Now I want the lantern to look like it has glass in it. So now we're going to go with blue-green 70 and 72. And I did a little blue-green 70 first, kind of over the whole surface. And then very lightly in just a few places, I added a little blue-green 72. And then we're going back with blue-green 70. Gosh, that's a tongue twister. And blending it out just a little bit to kind of give it the look of glass. Then I did decide to add some little dots to my blue candle for a little additional texture and interest with my blue 99 marker. We have the top of the lantern to finish, so we'll go back with our blue violet colors. I'm going to kind of fix my green candle. It was a little lighter than what I actually wanted it to be finished. And then the little handle up at the top of the lantern, I will use a warm gray marker. And I felt like my dots were just a little too prominent, so I went back over the whole candle with the B95. So a lot of little finishing things for this particular image, but we are almost done coloring, and then we can put it all together. We still have some fun stuff to add. We're going to foil the sentiment strips included in the November 2021 Cozy Wishes card kit, which is always one of my very favorite things to do. It's such a simple technique, and it adds instant wow to your sentiment strips. For the roof of our other birdhouse, I went back with my earth tone markers, E43, 44, and 47. For the inside star on the birdhouse, that again is going to be warm gray 6 and 8, just like the first birdhouse, to kind of give it that look of looking inside. And then we have our little bird, and I thought a nice little pop of red would be really pretty here. You could do any color you want, and like I said, I personally love a pop of red on a card, and so I felt like this was a great opportunity to add that. Now, I also thought that my little birdhouse here needed a little extra work, and I had let it sit long enough while working on the lantern that I went back with my blue-green markers and kind of fixed the teal and darkened it a bit. For the underbelly of the bird, we're going to go with YR 30 and 31. These are the same colors I used for the flame around the candle. Going to lay those down first, and then we're going to go in with our darkest red, which is R59. And then we will blend with R46 and 24. We're just going to kind of add in our color. R24 is going to be the lightest. It's got a little bit more of an orange undertone to it. But the belly still looks a little bit, that line there looks harsh. This is where YR31 is going to come in really handy. That's going to be a nice transition. And then a little YR27, which was that little dark color we used for the flame on the candles. That's going to be used for the beak on the bird. Then I'll use the coordinating dies to die cut my images. Not included in the kit, but such a beautiful die from the recent Peace on Earth release is the Laurel Leaves background plate. And I die cut this from some of the silver mirror cardstock included in the November kit. I love this. I think it's so beautiful, and it adds that nice little elegant look and feel. And look how gorgeous it die cuts. I love the detail that you see from that mirror cardstock. This mirror cardstock was also from the Peace on Earth release, so if you love playing with it from the November kit, definitely pick up some more in your next Simon Says Stamp order, as it is just amazing, amazing cardstock and perfect for all of your holiday card making. Now I am simply adding my little birdhouses and lanterns kind of back behind and in front of some of these leaves. When I placed the laurel leaves background over my pattern paper background, and this is the SCANDI Christmas pattern papers included in the kit, trimmed to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. I only placed the adhesive, the liquid adhesive, around the edges and left the leaves up while I worked on adhering my images to my design. And then I can kind of go in and spot adhere some adhesive to get those leaves to lay down. But I want some in front and some behind. Now I need to warm up my laminator. I am using the MINC from Heidi Swapp, and I am going to be using some beautiful glass slipper deco foil with the sentiment strip sheet included in the kit. Now I am foiling the entire sheet with this beautiful glass slipper foil. You can also just trim apart the sentiment strips that you want to foil and want to use on your card and foil only those. So don't think that you have to foil all of them the same color. You definitely don't have to. I just have more of these, and so I didn't mind doing the whole sheet in this color because this is a color I would use a whole lot. Now if there's any little stray flakes, sometimes I take a dry paintbrush and remove any of those. Usually there's not really a whole lot, but I just kind of like to go over it. And then I'm going to start trimming apart my strips. Now I trimmed apart my strips, or all of them, or most of them I think, right here, just to have it done and for ease of use so that I can grab and use these for any upcoming projects. Thank you sentiments are probably one of my most often used sentiments for any kind of card, probably for you guys too. And so this is a great way to have a bunch of sentiments ready to go. Now I'm going to play around with my sentiments and figure out which ones I want to use on my card. I feel like a sentiment strip up at the top, and then a couple kind of going over the entire bottom of the design would be really fun. So maybe a larger greeting up at the top and 2 smaller greetings down near the bottom. And I'm going to play around with different configurations and like I think thank you friend is a little too long for me. I feel like it's a little unbalanced and it covers up more than what I'd like it to. But I do really I really appreciate your kindness and you made my day for down at the bottom. So I'm simply going to trim up to the just thank you sentiment, and we're going to go ahead and trim that down and pop it up here up at the top. And I love that the foiling then really just ties into the silver mirror cardstock we used for the laurel leaves. I love the shininess of it. I hope that it kind of translates here on camera. Sometimes foiling is really hard to show, but it's so beautiful in real life. Next, I'm going to take some of the brand new waffle flower foam adhesive strips. I love these things. Oh my goodness, I think they are amazing. And I'm using the lower profile ones, and I'm simply going to put them on the back of my sentiment strips and adhere them to my card. Now I probably should have glued down some of these leaves before trying to attach my sentiment strip, but I didn't. So I'm going to kind of be careful so I don't tear anything, but I am going to take my glue and let's just tack down these leaves so that they don't get caught up when the recipient opens this card from the envelope. And I don't think I got this very straight, so bear with me for a minute while I fix that. Next, we're going to put some foam adhesive on the back of our 2 thinner strips as well, and just pop those up right here at the bottom of the design. I think I like the longer one first and then the shorter one underneath. Doesn't really matter. I think both of them, either order would be great, but I like it a little bit better this way. And I like how the sentiments just kind of flow in with the images on our card. Now the final thing I am going to do is, you guys, if you follow me at all, you know I almost always add some sort of heart to my projects. Not always, but a lot of the time. And so today I am going to add some little hearts and stars to the background. And then I thought that my glass lantern needed to look like glass, so I'm going to go over the entire glass portion of the lantern with glossy accents and let that completely dry. It will dry completely clear, but give that glassy finish to our lantern. So while that's drying, I'm adding some fun little indigo droplets hearts from Lucy's Little Things. I have these in every color. You can get them right here at Simon Says Stamp. They are one of my all-time favorite embellishments. I love, love, love them. And I'm going to add some of these indigo hearts to the design, as I feel like the hearts work really nicely with the rest of the colors on the card. And then of course we're going to use some of my favorite Lucy's Little Things itty bitty silver stars, as the silver looks great with the rest of the silver, and foiling accents, and just add a little scattering of those as well. With all of that done, this entire panel then can be placed on either a side fold or a top fold card base. A top fold card base is always my preference for this particular style. And we are all finished creating a card using components from the Simon Says Stamp November 2021 card kit called Cozy Wishes. I will add just a few little white highlights. I kind of forgot about that. I'm sorry. Just a few here and there, and that will be it. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this Cozy Wishes themed cards using supplies from the November 2021 card kit and the Peace on Earth release. The supplies are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Thanks so much for joining me today, and we will catch you next time.